I wanted to take my 15 years of experience in the finance world and condense it down into the 15 most important lessons about money in 15 minutes. This is the cliff notes of everything you need to know about money, how to make it, how to keep it, how to invest it, and how to get the most out of it. Don't always make the best money decision. Sometimes the best financial decision isn't always the best financial decision. Let me explain. It is technically better to dump money into your investment account at the start of the new tax year and then never touch it again until the next tax year. Don't believe me? Well, there was this study here from Vanguard that found that after analysing historical market data, they found that lump sum investing outperformed dollar cost averaging in a majority of cases. But what is dollar cost averaging? Dollar cost averaging is a simple concept. It's just continuing to invest small amounts into your investment account each month instead of just dropping in a lump sum. That continuing to invest in low cost index funds is one of the most tried and tested ways to build wealth. But the truth is, most people's finances don't work like that. Whilst it may be empirically provable that lump sum investing is better, the truth is that the best strategy is the one that fits your lifestyle and that you're more likely to stick to. Having a budget so that every time you get paid you put money into your investment account is just a sensible way to go. What I'm really trying to say is doing the thing that is going to be most beneficial for you, that fits your lifestyle but still lets you get to your finance goals and to let you build wealth is the best way of doing things. Value, not cost. Now, viewers of this channel will know that I am absolutely not a fan of the whole frugal movement. You know, the cut the cost no matter the cost brigade. Because the truth is that what you decide to spend your money on is a very personal decision. And so when you're making spending decisions, it can always be helpful to look at what you're getting and compare it to the cost. It can be very easy to fall into the trap of just always going for the cheapest option. Here's an example. Would you rather spend £5 on shoes, knowing that they'll fall apart within 15 minutes or by the time you get to the car park, or spend just a little bit more and get shoes that will last you a year? But just so we're clear, this is not me giving you license to go out and spend or waste money on Balenciaga trainers. That's why my opinion has always been that you should, provided you can afford it, spend money on the things that you enjoy and bring value to your life, but then cut costs in every other aspect of your life aggressively. Is wine your thing? Then cool. As long as you've put some money aside for your saving and investing, why not? Maybe you drive a lot from work and you can justify spending a bit more money on a comfortable car. Definitely. As long as you don't have high interest debt eating into your net worth. And if you don't care about cars, get something cheap, reliable and easy on your wallet. Because ultimately, it's asking yourself these types of questions when you're parting with your money that will make sure you're getting the most out of your money. The sunk cost fallacy. People have this tendency to carry on with something because of the time, effort and money, blood, sweat and tears that they've already put into it. And this is called the sunk cost fallacy. A sunk cost is a cost that you've already incurred but you can't necessarily recover. Whilst this isn't necessarily carte blanche to give up on absolutely everything at the first hurdle, throwing good money after bad is generally not a good idea. And the truth is that the sunk cost fallacy is rooted in all kinds of psychological biases and miscalculations. Maybe you've overestimated your control over a situation or outcome. Maybe your loss aversion is getting the better of you. And some people just don't want to admit that they've wasted their time and resources on a project that may never succeed. So if you've invested all your money or your time and your effort into something, you shouldn't necessarily keep investing just because you have skin in the game. No matter what, that money is gone and it shouldn't be used as a justification to spend more. Stepping up and acknowledging that you're going to move in a different direction and giving up are not the same thing. The key thing is to know which is which. Budgets are key. Now, what you invariably find is that there's a sliding scale when it comes to budgets. People are either on one end of the scale, they have a plan for every single penny, dollar, nickel, cent, ruble, rupee and pound fucking sterling, or they plan literally nothing. They have no idea where their money goes, they can't tell you how much their fixed bills have gone up. Absolutely nothing. Having a budget has been empirically linked to better overall financial well-being. People who have budgets are generally wealthier, have a better credit score, are generally richer, pay down debt faster. These are all provable links. There is a very, very simple budget technique which I think works pretty well across the board. This is the 50-30-20 rule. 50% of your after-tax income should go towards your fixed expenses, 30% of your income should go towards your guilt-free spending, and 20% of your income should go towards your saving and investing for retirement. Budgets should have some flexibility built into them, so view them as exactly that and build some fun into your budget. Statistically, you are more likely to stick to your budget if you have some fun money included in there. Block out the noise, think long term. A penny wasted today is a pound wasted in future. We live in a social media age with people screaming all the time for clicks and views, trying to grab your attention. Making sure you spend your money on the things that you don't need to, or worst of all, sell you the fear of imminent housing collapse or stock market meltdown, but the less said about that, the better, frankly. But the truth is that tuning this out is another really important skill when it comes to managing your own finances, having the presence of mind to make sure that you're staying the course, that you're working towards a longer term financial goal, that you're not worrying yourself with day-to-day stock movements or bad jobs reports, but that you continue to invest consistently. Not paying attention to fluctuations is key. Keep it simple, set it up, and leave it. Ignore the monthly. I see this all the time, that people ask themselves, can I afford this lease payment on this brand new car? But without realising that £400 a month on a 4-year lease is nearly 20 grand. Plus the deposit for the car could easily take you up to 25 grand. What else could you be doing this money? How else could you be better deploying this capital? And so this is the thing. You shouldn't use the monthly amount to determine if you can afford something. You should be looking at the monthly amount and the total cost. This really helps to put in perspective how much money you're committing to this. Not spending money is easy. Not spending money is much easier than making more money, but it's also worth saying it has its limits. You can only tighten the belt so much before you can't breathe. And because income is generally the primary way that most people will build their wealth, you should spend your time, money and effort increasing your primary income. And this is mainly because your income has a potentially unlimited upside, whereas cutting the costs in your life doesn't. And also focusing on your income has a few key benefits. It gets you to your financial goals faster, it gives you a thicker armor when things get financially tough, and it gives you the freedom potentially be able to buy back some of your time. So the real question is, what do you do with the time after you've bought some of it back? And a really good answer to this question is to work on another source of income. A side hustle is a good start, because having multiple streams of income has the benefits of growing your primary income, but the benefit is exactly that. It can be multiplied. Think about time. We've already talked a little bit about how being deliberate with how you spend your money, making sure you're spending it on things that are going to give you some sense of utility. It's something that you want to spend it on, not something you've been peer pressured into spending it on, all of that sort of thing. Is what you're about to spend your money on worth the cost in time to you? Think about how you value your time and how best to decide to use your money. But let's just look at an example for illustrative purposes. Here's what you do. Take your take-home pay, what actually lands in your bank account on payday, and divide it by the number of hours that you worked that month. Let's just, for argument's sake, let's say you work 160 hours a month and you make £2,000 per month after tax. That gives you a take-home pay per hour of £12.50. So if you're in a restaurant and you want to order a £100 bottle of wine, is it really worth a full 8-hour day of work for a bottle that might not even last you until your dessert arrives? Paying yourself first. This is categorically one of the easiest and most pain-free ways to invest. So let's just think about it for a moment. How do most people manage their money? They get paid, they cover their needs, roof over their head, their food, their fixed expenses. Then they spend on their wants, going out, eating out, movies, theatre, all that sort of thing. And then they save and invest what's left at the end, if anything at all. But paying yourself first tweaks that a little bit. You get paid, you pay your needs, then you save and invest, and then you pay for your wants. This is such a small change that can make such a big difference. But people say, oh, I want to enjoy my money, blah, blah, blah. This is flawed thinking. Would you rather go out and spend money on your wants knowing that you haven't saved and invested? Or would you rather go out and spend money knowing you've already taken steps to secure your financial future? I know which one I prefer. Knowing that you're already paying your future self means that you can spend money on the things you actually want to spend your money on. It can be, frankly, much less stress-inducing. Fees are the devil. Now, in this personal finance space that we find ourselves swimming in, much is made about how compound interest is the key to building wealth. And that is true. I'm not going to disagree with Warren Buffett on that one. But there's a flip side to that coin, which is fees. Whenever you're looking at your finances, you should always pay attention to fees, because it's not an exaggeration to say that these can cost you potentially hundreds of thousands of pounds, or even cost you your retirement. Don't believe me? Well, let's just go through an example. Let's just, for argument's sake, say you put away £150 a month, 10% a year on average for 30 years. At the end of that, after 30 years, you'd have £312,000, sitting pretty, right? But this is before fees. A 1% fee, a mere 1% fee, would reduce this to £257,000, costing you 54 grand. A 2% fee would be £212,000, the equivalent to 99 grand in fees. So even a very small change in fees can seem small, but when we're talking about investing over decades, those fees mount, and the longer you leave it, the faster they'll accumulate. So the same compound effect that's working with you to grow your investment value is also working against you when fees are charged. Stay informed. Before you all think it, I haven't gone mad. I'm not making the exact opposite point I made earlier on in the video. Yes, you should block out all the noise, all the screaming from insane people who are vying for your eyeballs and attention. It's impossible to make informed micro decisions about your own personal finances if you don't understand the macroeconomic environment that you're working in. Just so we're clear, you don't have to become an economics scholar, a PhD in econometrics with a minor in being a bad motherfucker, but understanding what is going on in the economy is worth keeping an eye on. If you want to remortgage but you understand interest rates and what the central bank is going to do, then that's beneficial to you. If you're going to move house but you think that prices are going to be weak in 12 months' time, then it's something else that you might want to include in your decision-making process. That doesn't necessarily mean it would stop and drop everything, but it's another data point that you can be using to make a decision. Bottom line, if you understand your own money and the environment that your money is working in, that's the dream team. That's the winning combination. Done deal. You have more control of your salary than you realise. Asking for a raise is something that you really should be doing. If you just accept the raise that you get given, then you might find that your income doesn't rise as quickly as you might want it to. And there was this study that came out in 2014 from Forbes that found that people who stayed at the same company for longer periods of time were linked to lower lifetime earnings. Finding, quote, staying employed at the same company over 2 years is going to make you earn 50% less over your lifetime career. So what's the easiest way to double your lifetime income according to this study? Move jobs every 2 years and then negotiate your salary. Your choice in partner will make or break your finances. Relationship advice is way beyond this channel, but no matter. It is easily one of the most important financial decisions that you'll make when it comes to your finances. If you and your partner have drastically different spending habits or financial goals, it can lead to real tensions and disagreements and lots of grumpiness. And I'm not taking away from the fact that these conversations can be difficult, but finding someone who at least has the same financial goals as you may be the most important start. You don't have to find a perfect clone of yourself with the exact same attitudes to money, and it's not the sort of thing you should include on a Tinder profile, but at least if you share the same destination, you can maybe take a slightly different route to get there. But you should also look at their attitude to money, their attitude to risk, how they value their money, what they do with it, how they prioritise it. Manage these conversations carefully and communicate little and often. That's as good a start as any. Right, relationship advice. Live within your needs, not your means. Learning how to live on less is a super important skill that few ultimately will master. But this also comes with one important benefit, which is this means as you gradually earn more, you can avoid lifestyle creep. Just because you earn more doesn't mean you need to spend more. It's totally pointless getting £100 a month pay increase if you go out and lease a £300 a month BMW. You've gone backwards there. Don't time the market. Invest consistently in low-cost index funds is one of the key ways to build wealth. This is advice from probably the greatest investor in history, as well as reams and reams and reams of empirical evidence. But despite that, there is no end of people who think that they have an edge, that they've got information or access or an insight to that no one else does. But the reality is that time and time and time again, they're proven wrong. And the truth is, if there were people out there who could read the market impeccably, then why hasn't someone from Wall Street offered them $50 million a year for their insights, their analysis and their hot takes? And I think this is really where a lot of what we've discussed comes together. Invest consistently, block out the noise, watch your fees, pay yourself first, set it up, and then leave it. And just a final note on this, one of the founding principles of this channel is that not everyone wants to be a millionaire, have a house in the Hamptons, drive a fancy car, all that bullshit. Most people just want to make sure that they are optimizing their finances, make sure that they aren't wasting their money, that they're getting their money to work for them, and that they're spending money in a way that adds meaningful value to their life. Thanks very much for watching. If you've liked this video, please like and subscribe. We are a small and growing channel, and subscribing doesn't cost you a penny, and you can always unsubscribe if you think I'm talking absolute nonsense. If you've also liked this video, we have a whole series about how to improve your finances. Link will be just up here. Thanks very much for watching.